Dexter plays Gemcraft Frostborn Wrath from Games in a Bottle. Welcome to a recon of Gemcraft Frostborn Wrath. I haven't done a recon in a while. Basically, this is like a first look at, a playthrough, a kind of a look, new game kind of thing. Not necessarily new game. I have played the Gemcraft series for a long time. There's a number of Gemcraft Forgotten Shadows on my channel here for the vision fields, which are challenging fields that they have, and I've posted up a bunch of those that I've actually worked on. But let's take a look at Gemcraft Frostborn Wrath. This is the next release of the Gemcraft series, and let's get into this. If you're into tower defense games, this is your thing. I'm going to start a new game so you guys can see what this thing is looking like. In Gemcraft, you have a path that creatures will come through to try to get to your central tower, and you try to place things in their way to prevent them from getting in. There's a lot of it's just basically tower defense. All right, in here we're getting a little bit of a story about what's going on. It's going to tell us a little bit about what we do. And in this particular case, I have different kinds of gems that I can create. This one here is a gem shard. It's an armor tearing shard. It does basic damage, and it also takes away some armor that might be on the creature that's coming after me. One of the other things you can do, click up here to make it count. So it's showing me the UI as an introduction. It's actually quite nice that it's going to be doing that for me. But you can see if I push the space bar, it's going to pause for a moment. And over here on the side, I have 6 waves of creatures that are going to come in. You can see Reavers. Looks like they're all going to be different Reavers here. One of the aspects of these is how many hit points do they have? Do they have some armor? Armor takes away from damage, so if I hit this thing for 10 points, it'll take 4 points off. I'll get through with 6 and kill it. Speed is how fast it's going to move across the map here. The mana gain per kill. So if I kill this, I get some mana. You can see my mana over here on the right side. That's how much my mana pool is what I use to summon out more gems. So I'm going to want to kill things to get that. Plus I gain some mana just over time. If they make it all the way over here to my orb of presence, I will expend some of my mana to banish him back to the beginning of the map. So I will basically teleport him to the beginning. And if I do kill it, I get some XP and the experience I'll use for later. So let's keep this thing going forward. Watch these guys do their thing. So I've got a few things going on here. I'm going to throw in a few more gems here. So what I'm doing is I can click on this, and it will create a gem for me. And in fact, you can kind of see I've got things going on here. Hey, look at that. There, you'll see. And I can actually drag and swap. And there's a circle around the tower that shows how far out I shoot. So this second grade purple gem will do 8 to 19 points of damage out to 5.3 range. And it's going to shoot 1.5 shots per second. Okay. So that'll do 8 points of damage, roughly. Here's 13, so it's going to take something like 2 shots to kill one of these guys. Okay. I can also use the G key here to merge things. So I can come over here and do this and merge these two together, and it goes from a 1 to 2. So you see that was a 1. If I hit that again, it'll go to 2. And as you go through, you'll get achievements. Here's an achievement that I got for getting a puzzle piece. We'll see what those are about here shortly. Here's my last thing. If I want to, I can always hit thing here like this and make them come early. So I just clicked on that to make those guys come in a little bit early. I'm going to go ahead and join these things up. You can also do things like build walls. So if I want to, I can build a wall here, forcing these guys to do something like this. Oh, it's all done. We finished. So now I get some points for the fact that nothing got through. So there's a win a battle without having anybody get through. I get some achievements at the end for my victory, and it says I'm on field W1 in journey mode, and we'll see some more about that. So here's something to look at in the beginning of this game. When you go through a map and you play it, whether you win or not, you will gain XP for the things you've done. Here I've got a total of 225 points of XP. If I should come back and play this field again, and I do a little bit better, and I have 230 XP on the field, it won't give me 230 XP. What it'll do is it'll subtract my previous highest XP score from my current score, and then give me how much I'm going to make. I haven't done this before, so I have 0. So it's 225. A minus 0 gives me 225. Also, if I do certain traits, I can increase the multiplier for the field. So this makes this field replayable. As I start to open up traits and ways to make the field harder, I can come back and play the field again to get additional XP out of this. And we're going to see why that's going to be of some value. Here you see that I've gathered some mana, and if I hover over this, it'll tell me where I got it from. I got 821 points from just killing the critters. Because of the time replenishment, I got 33 more points out of that. And by calling a wave early, I got a bonus of 28 points. So I got a total of 349 mana that I was able to... Well, I had 349 in the beginning. So I had the 349 plus the rest of that to use. I had gathered a total of 882. My highest level of mana in my pool was 449, and then I had a mana pool level. We didn't get a chance to see that. I'll show that to you the next time. And this is how much of the mana I actually spent doing things. It gives me a kill count, so it tells me how many things got killed. It'll tell me right now that I've killed 84 reavers, and of those 84, all of them were killed by tower shots. I can kill things by tower, I can kill things by trap, and I can kill things by bombs. So there's a couple of ways you can kill them. This is a kill chain. How many of these things did I just kill in a row? Boom, 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 boom. I got 11 in a row, my best. Shrines activated. I didn't do any spells I cast. Did none, right? So I got the structures built. I built it says I built like a tower or a wall. I built one wall. And then how many things I called early. Now down here is all my achievements. Here is First Blood. You get this achievement once. We'll go take a look at it. But by making this achievement, I got a skill point. So now I have skill points and I have experience that I'm going to be gathering through these. I got a puzzle piece, and that puzzle piece also gives me a skill point. So I have now a third thing. I've got my XP, I've got my skill points, and now I've got a puzzle piece. I've got this thing here because I call it a wave early. Because I called a wave in early, I get a skill point. That happens only once. The next time I call in a wave early, I will not get this because it's an achievement. Once you've done it, you've got it, you're done. I've got a clean orb here, which means I won a battle without any of the monsters getting to my home orb and getting banished. So I got a point for that. Just skip over the stuff in the middle here. Then here's the puzzle piece. Remember back here it said I got an achievement for finding a puzzle piece? Well, here's my puzzle piece. It looks like this, and this puzzle piece will give me a bonus of 6% damage if I'm shooting a building. It also unlocked a new field. By finishing W1, I've unlocked W2, and we'll look and see what that is. And then I got Shadow Course. So now here's a fourth thing. I've got my XP, I've got my skills, I've got my puzzle pieces, and I've also got these shadow orbs. So we'll have to see how that all works out. And then we've got some exposition about what's going on behind the whole storyline. I kind of like the storylines through the gemstone setup, but we're going to go back. So I've got this, here it is. I've got a map. I've got this field, it's the W field, and I have the W1, W2 here in the field. So if I click in the field token here to enter this next field, if I do enough of these in here, it'll add a new map section. Now over here you'll see I have skills. If I look underneath the skills and click anywhere to continue, we'll do this so you can always read on your own. I've got these two skills. I've got a mana stream skill and I've got a fusion skill. And I've got points. You remember the skill points I collected? I have 11 of them. And what's happening here is it's saying that for every few points that I have, for every point I have, I get some bonus mana at the start of my mission. So I started before with very little mana, and now as I get more and more unspent skill points, I can have more mana, which is kind of important sometimes in the beginning to be able to create a nice big old beefy gem that you're going to run on for a while and collect more mana. Sometimes you can start the map with too little mana and not be able to take care of anything. But I can spend this. I can go over here and I can spend a point, boom, and there I am. I have 1 point in mana stream. This is a Wraith skill. Basically, it says that my current skill is a 1. I get a bonus of 4% mana per monster. If you'll remember when we looked at monsters, it says how much mana do I get? Let's say it's 100 points of mana per kill. It's not what I'm going to get, but that makes the math easy. Now I get 104 for killing the same monster because I have added to this skill. Now, if I add another point, and if I increase this skill another level, I'll get an additional 4%. So I'll have 8%. But notice, I spent 1 point. See, if I take this back out, I'm at 11. If I add a point, I'm at 10. So it took me 1 point. And now it's saying the next one's going to cost me 2, and then 3, and then 4. So every time I add a point, it costs me an additional point to get in to go to the next level. So this is a incremental increase in or almost not logarithmic, but it is an exponential-ish kind of increase in skills. This will go to a maximum of 15 and cap out at 15. Okay, so you can have your skill from 1 to 15. Over here on Fusion, this is the skill of taking my first grade gem. So when you looked and I summoned that level 1 gem, how much does that level 1 gem cost me to summon in? Now it's going to cost me 1% less to summon it in. And that is cumulative because all of the other grade gems are effectively the same, and I'll show you what that means. They're all built from level 1 gems. Okay? So now we've got some skill points in here. I'm going to keep some here so I have some initial mana bonus. But if you see, watch my initial bonus down here. Every time I spend one, it goes down. All right, so you might want to keep some down here and some up here. You'll get a feel for that. Talisman. I got a plus here that says, hey, you got a new talisman. Let's go take a look. This is the talisman management screen. In here, what I have is I have blank spaces where I can take this puzzle piece and drop it in. I can put it anywhere in here. I can't put it on these. These are locked. See? I can unlock them with shadow cores. I have 8. This shadow core here is going to take me 100 unlock, 300, 500, 400. So this has this 3, 4. I think these go even higher, 1,000. So as you go further out, it'll cost you more. Okay? So you'll throw in this thing here. There's no reason not to put as many of these in here as you can because they'll give you bonuses to your gameplay. In this particular case, I'm going to get a 6% bonus. And if I want to know how much my bonuses are, I look at the summation. For those who like math, that's the summation symbol. For those who don't like math, this is just adding everything together. Okay, so this is the sum total of all of my talismans. What does it give me? Everything I have put down gives me 6% damage to buildings. This also shows me updates or upgrades and rarity. So, for example, when I click on this, you can see right in the center there, you'll see some numbers, 1 and a 0 to 2. That means this is a level 1 or a rarity 1 type piece. The higher the rarity, the better it is. And also, you can do upgrades. The higher the rarity goes, the more upgrades you can get into it. And now if I upgrade this, it'll cost me 4. Okay, and the shape changing costs me 53. So if I wanted to, I could upgrade this by doing a U. So I can just hover over it, type in U, bing. Now it's doing 6%. So I spent points to upgrade it, and I didn't get anything out of it. Usually you'll get some increment, but this is so low in rarity, it's not going to give me much. It might give me a plus 8% after I add more shadow cores to it. So that's what this upgrade is for. This here is to change the shape. Changing shape means that, what if I don't like this puzzle piece? Have you ever done a puzzle and go, I don't want 3, I want 2, and then I want the 2 female pieces in the center there, and I don't want that piece, I want this piece. Well, this allows you to change pieces around at the cost of shadow cores. So your shadow cores allow you to manipulate this, and if you're curious what you have, that's what this is for. Down here at the bottom, if I click on or show this, it'll show me all of the pieces that I have saved as a shape. So let's say I think this thing is crap. I don't like it. I can take this thing here. If I can hover over it, I type C, it's gone. You saw the flash. Now you can see that right over there, that puzzle piece is highlighted. Now, when I take a puzzle piece, I can change it to this shape. Okay, I can take any shaped puzzle piece and make it look like that, so that I can set up my little puzzle in the center. This is somewhat new, the puzzle piece thing, but hey, this is working out pretty cool. And then of course you can always destroy it just outright and try to get some salvage cores out of it. This is not a 1-for-1. If you spent 30 shadow cores upgrading and creating it, and you destroy it, don't expect to get your 30 back. You won't. Okay, so be careful about how you spend your points. Next thing in here is achievements. This place is an achievement hunter's wet dream. In here you can see I've already got this achievement of kill a monster. Great. My next one is combine 2 gems together. I haven't done that yet. Probably will soon, but you can see there's so many of these. In total, there's 632, and then they're also grouped within areas. So of the 632, 11 are related to armor. So if I wanted to look at armor, here's all the types of achievements I can get for armor. So once I've played it for a little while, I'm looking at this going, well, where can I get more skill points? I can look into something. Like, for example, if I look at this one, I can get a skill point if I drop 27 gem bombs while it's snowing. So you can take a look at all the different ways you can create, get skill points in here through achievements. In addition to that, you have these journey notes, which is going to tell you, here's all the stuff I've picked up already. And it's going to give me a little bit about the Tome of the Forgotten, the Icy Points. Some of this is coming, if you've played the previous versions, Spirit Forge and the Tome of the Forgotten have meaning to you. I would strongly encourage, I think the very first gemstones were available on the free-to-play games like Congregate. So you can go over to Congregate and take a look at Gemstone and find, or Gemcraft and find some of the earlier stuff. The last version was also free to play if you wanted it to. The stuff that I built, or the videos I made, was off the Steam version, which I paid for because I had a lot of fun with this game, and I felt like, hey, if I play this game and have a lot of fun, the developer, he's due some cash, so he'll do some more of that kind of thing in the future. Here's my overall stats. So this will keep track of all of your general stats, specifically those related to your journey mode, your endurance mode, and to your trial mode. What does that mean? What that means is, like, on this world here, we just did this, and it opened it up on journey. You can't do anything else until you've completed a field on journey mode. Once you have, and you collect it again, now you get a chance to do other stuff. Yeah, thank you very much. So this is basically the baseline. As I put in skills, this affects my journey. So now my gem summoning will be 1% cheaper, and I'll get 1 or 4% more mana for that. Endurance mode is the same. It brings in all the same modifiers that you created out of your skills and talismans. They apply here as well. Trial mode is not. Trial mode doesn't care. When you take trial mode, you're given a specific set of objectives with a specific set of mana, and you got to figure it out. So this is really puzzle mode. This is the challenge mode, or in old Gemcraft versions, it is the vision field. Before, vision fields were like one every four maps. After I hit, I got three or four of these, then there would be a vision field that I have to go over. Now you have a vision field for every one of them. Okay, finishing that will give you some bonus XP. You get some. I think you get at least 3 skill sets, and in some cases, if we hover over this, let's see if I see one. Yep. See down there right underneath available gems, it has purple and blue. Purple is armor shredding, blue is slowing, and it says I have a locked wizard stash in endurance mode. So if I go into the endurance mode, I'll have the objective, and we'll take a quick peek at that. I'm not going to get very far in it, but we'll do it just for the fun of it. These are all the traits. I have none of the traits yet because I haven't unlocked them. You can only unlock them by getting through wizard stashes, and a wizard stash will give you puzzle pieces. It'll give you skill points. It might give you a skill of some type or a spell. Here's what it looks like. This is the very same map that we just played. But notice, instead of having 6 waves, there's a whole lot more. In fact, there's one of 30 waves. So this is going to keep getting tougher and tougher until it kills me. And generally, the point of the endurance game, the endurance mode, is you go as far as you can before you die. You're gonna die is generally the idea. In this case, if I make it through all 30 waves, it will add across the board on all of my endurance modes another 5 waves. So every time I beat an endurance mode, it becomes tougher for everything. It's not per map. It's for the entire game. Okay, so keep that in mind. Over here, we have some speeds. This is pause. This is regular speed. This is 3 times speed. Here's my mana pool. Remember we talked about the levels in the mana pool? As you can see, it's at level 1. The next level is at 120, or we have 1,200 points. If I gather 1,200 mana and don't spend it, this will go up to mana pool level 2, which will just increase the cap. It doesn't cost me 1,200 to get there. As long as I hit 1,200, I become the next mana pool. And then I can spend my 1,200. But what it'll do is it'll change some of these other things below it. Mana replenishes at 23 mana per minute. It'll go higher. It'll be something like 26 or 30 per minute. My multipliers will all go up. So, and then if I drop a gem there, I'll get 70% of its value back. As I go up, I get more and more of my value back. Generally speaking, you want to push your mana pool up to increase the rate at which you get mana so that you can have more stuff on the field. We won't see that in the beginning of these games because it just doesn't, I just won't get enough mana to have that really happen. And I need to spend my mana to put up some stuff to defend it. But you saw before we had a thing there, right? So if I do that, here is an up and down. This says, hey, if I have the mana, I want to go up and create a level 2 mana instead of a level 1. We're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and create another one of these armor shredding gems. We're going to let some time go by while that's happening. And then we're going to look over here. We did the combined gems of 240. So this is 240 mana. So I'm going to pause for a second. So for 240 mana, I can join any 2 gems together. There's a couple rules behind adding gems together. One of them is if you join the same level to the same level, it goes to the next level. So if I take a level 1, combine it with a level 1, boom, it becomes a level 2. Okay? And let's put that in there while we talk about some other stuff. And the level 2 now is going to do more damage than the level 1. and also has a special ability. So if we look at that below, you'll see in purple, reduces armor by 7.6%, or 7.6 per. If I look at a blue gem, I can see that this makes the target go slower. So maybe, ideally, what I'd want to do is put these things nearby one another so that this guy will slow things down, and this guy will get a chance to shoot at it a little bit more. Okay? So that's something I might want to do. Now here's another thing that's going to happen, is when I want to join gems that are of different levels, I don't go up another level. Okay, joining a level 1 and a level 2 does not give me a level 3. I have to join 2 level 2s together to get a level 3. But I can join a level 1 to a level 2, and when I do that, and I'm really not worried about succeeding in this, but when I do that, watch this. This is 7 to 13. This is 9 to 21, right? So if I grab this one and I hover over here, it'll show me 9 to 21. Watch when I drop it. This now does more damage. I've pumped the damage of my level 2 gem. You probably also saw a few other things increase, but the range I think was the same. The shots per second are the same, but now it also does a slowing effect on these guys that come by. So I can beef up a gem that I have by just adding another level 1 to it. And like if I want to, I can actually add a few more guys here. Now down here you'll see this is the wizard stash. So this thing here, and I'm about to have something happen here. Let's pause. So we'll talk about this guy in a second. So this guy here, I just selected him, put a little sign over here. What that means is this now is the priority to kill. If there's a tower nearby, it will ignore all of its other instructions on what to shoot, and it'll shoot this guy. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at this tower and I click on it, all right, if I left click, it'll pick up and drop the gem, right? If I move it, it'll go through a resetting phase. If I just pick it up and drop it back in the same one, it doesn't do that. It figures, oh, you just clicked on it by accident. If I left or right click on it, now you can see it's a drag to select target priority. And notice I'm getting skill points left and right here. So if I go up, now it says my targeting will be for the critter that is nearest to the orb, or I will shoot swarmling types first and then everything else, or giants first and then everything else, or I'll just randomly shoot all over the place. This is, I will shoot structures before I shoot critters. This one is whatever costs me the most. So if I have a creature that's got a high banishment cost, kill it first because I know I'm going to bleed. I'd rather bleed for things that don't cost me as much mana. Or if it's a special, like there are some special creatures that come by every once in a while, that says, hey, stop shooting at these little swarmling things and shoot at the special thing. There's also carrying an orblet. An orblet is a thing that goes around your orb. It'll be down here. And you can get, like, I think up to 6 of them. And instead of banishing, this guy will grab the orb and try to run all the way back out with it. And if he doesn't make it back out, the orb will drop and slowly work its way back, floating back. But as soon as another guy comes by, he'll grab it and try to run it out. Okay? And what that basically is it's a free avoiding of a banishment. Next, highest shielded, highest armored. So, for example, the armor shredding gem. I might want him to tear off armor. And that being the case, I want him to shoot whatever's in front of him that has the most armor on it so I can make it more vulnerable. This is least hit points. Maybe I have a whole bunch of things that are going to bleed. If you shoot the thing with the lowest hit points, I might be able to kill it. If I can kill it, I can prevent myself from taking some mana damage. But typically, you'll have it on lowest. There we go. And boom. He just went back to the beginning. He's in here somewhere. Where is he? You see, there's a wave 3 guy. See, we were on wave 5, but this is the guy who just got banished. Okay? You'll notice that he has 1 of 12 hit points left. He's almost dead. In some cases, these guys will become tougher when they get banished. So having things get banished repeatedly makes things, it starts to snowball on you, and it gets pretty nasty. Here's my kill counter. You see how it's getting a kill and it's counting down? That's how fast I'm killing. So if I kill stuff really quick, it's great. Now watch my mana. Boom. Every time one of these guys go through, I lose mana. So you don't want them to bleed like that if you can avoid it. Now, here's the other thing I can do. I can put a tower right there, and I can go on structure. This is just my tower. There's nothing special about it. But you notice, now I'm shooting this wizard stash. He's going to start popping this guy as much as he can. That's good. That's good for me. I'm going to go ahead and do another here. Let's go ahead and put this guy over there. I'm starting to bleed a little bit because I'm talking too much. All right, and while he's doing that, that should help slow things down a little bit for me. I'm letting him go through this over here on my stash. And I'm bleeding a little bit faster than I think I'm it's getting kind of scary. I could also just say, hey, go nearest, and he will shoot this thing while he has the opportunity. All right, so let's do a couple of these. Just add a little bit more spread out damage. So this will lead into some other questions of optimization, which I am not going to address at this stage. Just know that doing damage to these guys is important, but that if they've got like 10 points of armor and I'm shooting them for anywhere from 5 to 12, this guy might do some damage to one of these guys, but he will strip 4 points of armor from them, right? So I might really want to go to highest shielded, highest armored. You just take out armor. That's your whole job, is to take out armor. All right. And I might do the same over here. Just go after armor first. All right. So now what I did is I shot this stash enough that I opened up the wizard stash. And now you see I've gotten all the secret. That means I'm going to get something special at the end of this run when I'm dead. And I can die and still get the benefit. Okay? And I'm about to. There we go. So I had too much stuff hit me in the orb, and my mana ran to 0. And when my mana goes to 0 or less, I die. Or actually below 0, I die. Or I get banished myself, I should say. I don't actually die. So I got more achievements. I made a combination of 2 different colors. I got a point there. I have selected a specific monster. I got a skill point there. I took a look at the special purposes of the targets. I got a point there. I opened up a stash. I got a point there. And I have spent 900 points on banishment, on just banishing things out, and I got a point there. So I got a lot of points. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 more skill points to spend. Okay, and I got some XP that I can use as well. On top of that, I got another Shadow Core. I also got another thing about Wizard Stashes, and what came out of the stash was this skill tome of Orb of Presence skill tome. And this is added to my skills. Now, if I go back to the map, go back to the map. You'll see I have a thing over here on the stars, and I got a color here. This just says I've played in the endurance mode. Not necessarily that I've beat it or anything, but I can hover over this and see what my max XP is, which might be giving me an idea of, do I want to go back and do it again? If I look under skills, now I have a new skill. It's called Orb of Presence, and this is going to decrease the banishment cost. Personally, I would say always throw at least 1 point into these skills and see how it goes. If you're noticing something here, there's going to be 18 skills in all. All of these things will do different stuff, and you can change them around. And if you don't like the way it is, hey, take some points out, put it over there. Maybe this is a banishment run. Everything's going to get banished a bunch. So I'm going to go throw a bunch of points over here and try to reduce the cost down to 3.5, and I get an orblet. That's how you get orblets. All right, and then we can go back into my my talismans here, see if I've picked up. I didn't get any there. My achievements, I can see that now I have 627. I've unlocked 9 of them. And as far as just the skill points, I have now 27 points to spend. And if you remember when I went into this, I had much less than that. So I'm gaining these skill points, and now I can start to allocate this to increase how I do. And if I want to throw in some points here, I can. And if I want to come back here because I think I could do better, maybe I can summon waves in early. And if I can summon a whole bunch of waves in early, I can get more experience. But then I could go to the next wave and try to unlock that one and continue on. So that is, generally speaking, Gemcraft, the Frozen Wrath. If you like what you see, certainly go take a look. It's available on Steam. I forget how much it is, but I'll put a link down below to the Steam webpage for you. And I will be generating, as I did with the Gemcraft Chasing Shadows, I've had a couple of requests already. I will be generating solutions to the trial modes. I'm not going to be putting it into this normal schedule of every 3 days, primarily because when I do a trial mode, I try to find the most efficient and effective way of doing it, not just, I did it once. Hey, look here, you can see I did it once. It's not about me doing it once. It's about how I can help you get through it in the easiest, most reliable way possible. In some cases, on the Gemcraft Chasing Shadows side, The best solution I could find was something like 50-50. That happens sometimes where, depending on how things go, you might not make it through, but this one is the most consistent for me, and hopefully it'll be consistent for you. And I will do the same thing for these as I get around to them. I don't know. We're going to probably come back to Z-Dawn. I was playing Z-Dawn on this slot before. I just finished it. I talked to the developer briefly on Twitter, and he tells me there's going to be an update in a couple of weeks that's going to add cars. And so I'm going to wait for the update. I'm also putting a guide together for Z-Dawn. I want to put that up. So I got a number of things that are cooking. So if you like what you've seen, please leave me a comment, subscribe. If you're glad to see Gemcraft out again, let me know about that too. I'm curious to see how many people are going to be playing this game. Me, I like the tower defense thing, especially this one that has a nice feel for it. I mean, it's got this ramping difficulty. It's got a storyline behind it. It's just, I think it's well done. And thank you to the folks who have done all the development on this for the enjoyment that I have had. Take care. Bye-bye.
I'm creeping through the shadows in the corners of your mind. I go with the windows, I run but I don't hide. I hear the call of the wild, whispering the name. No, I can't be tamed. My heart belongs to the night. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a